Hello and welcome to session 24 of Direct Tax 2 4th semester BCom of Mangalore University. Now in this particular session, we are going to learn some important expenses allowed as deduction under section 30 to section 37 and other expenses which are allowed as far as computation of business or profession income is concerned. So let's look at each of those expenses. Expenses expressly allowed as deduction under section 30 to 37. So following expenses are generally allowed as business expense if they are incurred in the previous year in connection with the business. This is very, very important. Personal expenses and expenses which are capital in nature. For example, purchase of an asset. Purchase of an asset cannot be claimed as a business expense. On the purchase of an asset, you can claim depreciation. Remember this. So, personal expenses and expenses which are capital in nature cannot be claimed as deduction. So, expenses which are incurred in the previous year and those relate to business only can be claimed as deduction under various sections that we are going to discuss. So, let's look at the basic expenses that we can claim as deduction. Expenses for purchase, manufacture, and sale of goods and other day-to-day running of the business. So any expenses incurred for purchase of goods, maybe purchase of raw material, for manufacturing or conversion of raw materials into finished goods, for sale of goods, and for that matter, the day-to-day running of the business is a business expense which can be claimed as deduction. Expenditure incurred in defending a case for damages for breach of contract. Now, it is a very interesting and a very, very important aspect. Say, due to some reason or the other, suppose if the business is not able to fulfill the contract, then we say that there is a breach of contract. And this breach of contract might have happened for reasons which are beyond the control of the business. We can take the present COVID situation. Suppose pre-COVID, business had promised to deliver the goods within a month. And suddenly there was a lockdown throughout the country and the business was not able to deliver. So though we say there is application of force majeure, but then if there are any expenses that are incurred in defending the business as far as for damages for the breach of contract, then such expenses are allowed as deduction. Sometimes the business may pay a compensation to an undesirable employee or director for the retrenchment of his services at the time of closure of one of the units of the business. Suppose we have an employee in our organization or a director whom we feel is a waste person. He is not able to contribute productively to the organization. And if in case organization terminates his relationship, his agreement, contractual agreement, it would be better off for the business. So such an employee will be paid a compensation, maybe 3 months salary, or if he's a director, then he may be paid, say, some amount as fees and will be told to leave the organization. So such compensation paid to an undesirable employee can, or a director, can be claimed as deduction. Then compensation paid to an employee for sustaining injury while on duty. At the workplace, if the employee meets with an accident, then we say the compensation, we say the workman's compensation that is paid can be claimed as deduction. Then recurring expenditure incurred on giving basic training to apprentices. The apprentices are people who are under trainers. You know, they are getting the required exposure, they are getting the required training, and they are paid a certain apprentice amount. You know, certain amount for spending their time helping out in the business and at the same time learning the trade as well. So such payment made can be claimed as deduction as a business expense. Then we have welfare expenditure incurred on the employees. We have staff welfare fund. We have gratuity fund. All these are welfare expenses. If the business is incurring any expenditure towards the welfare of the employees, it's a welcome business expense. It can be claimed as deduction. Then pension or gratuity paid to employee or family pension or other payments made to the widows or dependents of the deceased employee. Suppose if the employee has died and the business is paying pension or gratuity or family pension or any other payment to the widows or dependents of such deceased employees, then such an expense incurred can be claimed as a business expense. Commission paid for securing order for the business. So sometimes the business may have to pay commission to brokers who will help get a deal from a buyer, will help strike a deal between the buyer and our business. So any commission paid for securing order for the business can be claimed as deduction. Then reasonable expenses incurred on the occasion of Diwali, commencement of business, Dasara, or any festival. Employer is giving some presents to employees on festival occasions like Deepavali, Christmas, Eid for that matter. So such presents given by the employer to the employees can be claimed as a business expense. Then some businesses go ahead in providing festival allowances to its employees. So such allowances, if given to employees, is deductible as business expense. Subscription to business related association, that is trade association, chamber of commerce, business syndicate. You are a member and you pay subscription, the business subscription. So that is allowed as a business expense. The next one is legal expenses incurred in the normal course of the business to avoid a business liability or to defend the SSE's title to assets or to terminate a disadvantageous trading relationship. So if I can incur certain legal expenses and avoid a heavy liability for the business or defend the SSE's title to an asset, say for example, if the land was under a certain dispute and if the matter is sub judice in the court, so whatever legal expenses that the business has incurring to defend the SSE's title to the asset, that is one, or to terminate a disadvantageous trading relationship can be claimed as a business expense. So a business can claim deduction. Expenses on stamp in connection with lease agreement. So business is entering into a lease agreement with a lessor and the stamp fees, that's a negligible amount, maybe 50 rupees, maybe 100, maybe 200, or maybe 500 rupees. So that stamp duty paid for entering into a lease agreement can be claimed as a deduction as a business expense. Interest payable on unpaid purchase price or installment amount of plant and machinery. So if there is any interest payable on unpaid amount or unpaid installment of any asset purchase, that can be claimed as a business expense. Cost of installing new telephone in the business premises can be claimed as deduction. Advertisement expenditure of revenue nature is fully allowed. So if there is any advertisement expenditure that the business is incurring, now advertisement basically is for promoting business, encouraging sales, encouraging customers to buy more and more from the business, creating awareness of the product. So expenses which are revenue in nature are fully allowed as deduction, but capital expenditure and advertisement, if given in the political party souvenir, that is in the booklets, in the magazines or souvenirs of political party, if any advertisement is given, then such expenses cannot be claimed as deduction as a business expense. Then special advertisement campaign expenses at the time of opening new branches. So when the business is starting a new branch, it has to advertise heavily so that people acknowledge the presence of this business, so that people acknowledge or they get aware that such and such business is now started in their area. So such expenses incurred can be claimed as a business expense. Then expenditure incurred in connection with the alteration made in the memorandum of association or articles of association of a company. Now these two are foundational documents of a company, which is very much required for registration of the company, more so a memorandum of association. It is called as the foundational document of a company, and each company is expected to have their own memorandum of association. But in the course of time, there is likely alterations possible. Possibly the company may change or increase its authorized capital, nominal capital, which is mentioned in the memorandum of association. So any expenses which are incurred in the alteration of any term clauses in the memorandum of association or articles of association of a company can be claimed as a business expense. Then professional tax paid in respect of business or profession. So if we are availing CA services for filing our returns, business's income, returns of the business, then such expenses can be claimed as deduction. Then annual listing fees. Company is going to pay a negligible amount as fees to the concerned stock exchange, where the shares of the company will be traded, will be bought and sold. So annual listing fees paid by the company to the stock exchange is an allowable business expenditure. Then expenditure on foundation laying ceremony, on inauguration ceremony of a business. So when the business is newly started, the foundation laying ceremony or the inauguration ceremony, there are certain expenses that the business is going to incur, and such expenses are allowed as business expense. Then we have expenditure incurred on foreign tour of director for business, that is for expansion purpose. Suppose if the business has sent one of its director abroad to strike a deal, say purchase of an asset, or to bring in better technology into the business. So such an expense is incurred can be claimed as a business expense. Then debenture premium spread between the date of issue and the date of redemption. So we have debenture premium. Sometimes the company would like to redeem the debentures at a premium, and this is made known at the time of issue of debentures itself. So debenture premium will be set right by transferring a portion amount from the profit towards the settlement of this particular debenture premium. So such expenses which are taken out of profit and loss account can be claimed as deduction. Then loss caused by robbery, dacoity, which are incidental or related to the business, can be claimed as deduction. Loss by embezzlement. Embezzlement would mean misappropriation by a staff or theft by an employee, can be claimed as deduction. Loss due to non-recovery of advances given to the supplier. Suppose to the supplier, in anticipation that is going to supply, we have given an advance, but it's been long time now, the supplier has disappeared. And if such advance given, if it is not recovered for some reason or the other, then such losses can be claimed as deduction. Then damages paid for failure to fulfill the contract on time. So I just mentioned earlier about the force majeure, the term applicable. But in spite of the force majeure due to COVID situation, suppose if the business is supposed to pay damages or compensation for failure to fulfill the contract on time, then such damages paid can be claimed as a business expense. Demurrage paid to railway for not lifting the goods in time. So this is a special expense that which may happen, but it may rarely happen. So demurrage paid is an amount paid to railway for not lifting the goods in time, that is due to some delay and some expenses that may be incurred. We have the seller has say delivered goods through railway, and we have not been able to pick up that parcel. And since we have not been able to pick up the parcel, that remains in the warehouse of the railways itself, and space becomes a constraint, due to which they may charge us certain amount as fees called demurrage, and that amount paid by business can be claimed as deduction. All subsequent expenditure following installation of fluorescent light, initial expenditure is treated as capital expenditure. So initially when we put fluorescent light, lights that glow during the night time, so initial expenditure is taken as capital expenditure, it is depreciable. But the subsequent expenditure after that, that is replacement of a fluorescent light or a bulb for that matter, is taken as a business expense. So we can claim that as a deduction. Then we have forfeiture of security deposit for breach of contract. So this is repeated for the third time. We have given a security deposit and we are not able to fulfill the contract. There's a breach of contract and we have to forfeit that security deposit. So that's an allowable business expense. Then we have expenditure on renovation of office or substantial repair charges on plant and machinery. So any repairs, any renovation that is done, provided the amount is very small, can be claimed as a business expense. Then interest paid on delayed payment of municipal taxes on arrears of sales tax. Today we call it as GST. So if there is any interest paid on delayed payment of taxes, whether GST, whether municipal tax, customs duty, excise duty, that can be claimed as deduction. Now there are certain very important standalone expenses which are covered under different sections which are allowed as deduction. Let's look at those expenses. One very, very important point is those expenses should be incidental to the business, must be related to the business. Only then those expenses are deducted from business income. Which are those expenses? Under section 30, we have expenses in respect of business premises such as rent, rate, taxes, land revenue, municipal taxes, repairs, insurance premium, and for business building. So the regular rent that you pay for your business premises, the local taxes that you pay, the land revenue, the municipal taxes, repairs, insurance premium, that is all allowed as deduction under section 30. But if any repairs is capital in nature, suppose you have an office which has say 4 cabins, and now you are adding a 5th cabin, which you are adding an extra room for that matter, then such expenses are treated as revenue capital expenditure, and that becomes a depreciable item that cannot be treated as a revenue expenditure, and you cannot claim as deduction. So if there is any repair expenses which is capital in nature, it shall not be allowed as a deduction because it will be a depreciable aspect. Repairs and insurance on machinery, plant, furniture, and other business assets, section 31. Now let's imagine a Shamiana business. They have machinery and they have items like Shamiana, chairs, furniture, fans, plates. All these are business assets. So any repairs and insurance on such assets can be claimed as deduction under section 31. Then depreciation on business assets and investment allowance covered under section 32. Revenue expenditure incurred for carrying on scientific research in relation to business. This is covered under section 35, subsection 1, subclause 1. So such expenses are allowed as deduction. Then if there is any in-house research, except expenditure on land and building, that is for biotechnology business or manufacturers of any articles, 150% of such expenditure is allowed as deduction. That means for every 100 rupees that is incurred for in-house research, 150 rupees weighted deduction, 150 rupees can be claimed as deduction. This is covered under section 35, subsection 2AB. Then very, very important, if any sum is paid for scientific research to a national laboratory would mean IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization, ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research, ICAR, Indian Council for Agriculture Research. These are a few examples of national laboratory. Apart from national laboratory, an approved scientific research association, a recognized university, Indian Institute of Technology, college or other institution, then 150% of the total sum paid is allowed as a deduction. So any contribution made to a scientific research, to a national lab, to an IIT, to a recognized university, to a college of eminence or other institution, then a weighted deduction of 150%, meaning to say, if you contribute 100 rupees, you can claim a deduction of 150 rupees. And this is covered under section 35, subsection 2AA. Next is any contribution towards a statistical research or social science research to an approved research association, a recognized university, a college or other institution, then 100% of the total sum paid will be allowed as deduction. And this is covered under section 35, subsection 1, clause 3. So any donation, contribution to statistical research or social science research, you can claim a deduction of 100%. Next, we have revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. That is, except land, goodwill, and financial instruments incurred for specified businesses. There are 12 new age businesses. For example, the cold storage facility is one example. A bed with a hospital with a bed minimum of 200 beds is an example. See, a gas laying pipelines, a company which is engaged into such business, or you can say affordable housing scheme. So likewise, there are 12 such new age specified businesses which are covered under section 35 AD, and expenses incurred on such businesses can be claimed as deduction. But here on, if there is any capital asset purchase, no depreciation will be allowed. If the asset is used for some other purpose, then no deduction is allowed. And if such assets are sold, then those are taxable as business profits. Then payment to Rural Development Fund and National Poverty Eradication Fund notified by the central government covered under section 35 CCA. So 100% deduction is available for any contribution to Rural Development Fund or National Poverty Eradication Fund. Then any payment made by the business towards National Fund for Afforestation and Wasteland Development, and any amount paid to an approved association or institution for carrying out conservation of natural resources or afforestation is deductible. And this deduction at 100% is available under section 35 CCB, that is contribution to National Fund for Afforestation and Wasteland Development, 100% deduction covered under section 35 CCB. Then we have a very important deduction, especially from the company point of view, and that is preliminary expenses. So preliminary expenses incurred for the purpose of commencement of new business or extension of an undertaking or setting up of a new unit. Usually we say preliminary expenses are expenses incurred by the promoters of the company. And if any such expenses are there, then that will be claimed as deduction in 5 equal installments. That is 20% each year over a period of 5 years, subject to a maximum limit of 5% of the cost of project or capital employed. And this is covered under section 35D. So whatever preliminary expenses that is incurred, business can claim deduction in 5 annual installments. So over a period of 5 years can be written off. That is 20%, but it should be within the limit of 5% of the cost of project or capital employed. Then some businesses may incur expenditure on amalgamation or demerger. We have merger and we have demerger. Demerger would mean separation of a business undertaking, and that shall be deductible to the amalgamating company or successor company or resulting company in 5 equal installments. Now this is covered under section 35 DD. Then any sum paid to an employee in respect of voluntary retirement. An employee would like to leave the organization, and whatever amount is paid, we say golden handshake for voluntary retirement. So any amount paid as voluntary retirement compensation to an employee will be deductible by the business in 5 equal installments. You can say 5 annual installments over a period of 5 years, and this is covered under section 35 DDA. Then we have expenditure on agriculture extension project notified by Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT, is allowed up to 150% of such expenditure. So if there is any expenditure incurred on developing agricultural related technology, we say agricultural extension project, because agriculture, the outcome of agriculture, food is very, very important for the Indian economy. So if there is any expenditure incurred on such project, so a weighted deduction of 150%, that means for every 100 rupees spent, business can claim a deduction of 150 rupees. Then we have expenditure on skill development project. So some businesses incur heavily on such skill development of their employees, except cost of land and building, notified by the Central Board of Direct Taxes. Now this is also allowed up to 150% of such expenses. So for 100 rupees incurred, 150 rupees can be claimed as deduction. Then any expenditure incurred on insurance premium against goods, stocks, stores. So fire insurance premium or marine insurance or insurance against anything as far as business is concerned can be claimed as deduction. Loss due to natural causes such as fire, flood, white ants, all these can be claimed as a business expense. Health insurance premium paid on the health of all the employees and payment made in any mode except cash. The business can claim deduction. So health insurance premium paid by the business on the health of all the employees, not on some specific employees, on the health of all the employees, and the payment is made by any mode except cash, business can claim deduction. Then interest on borrowed capital. If the business has taken any loan for business purpose, an expenditure on raising loan, except for purchasing an asset, then any business related loan and interest on such loan can be claimed as deduction. Discount on zero coupon bonds. Zero coupon bonds is an interesting aspect. Let's say a bond value, the face value of the bond is 100 rupees. And the company is issuing this bond at 90 rupees, which will be redeemed after a period of 5 years. Interesting point in zero coupon bonds is no interest is payable on the bond. There is no interest factor. At the end of the 5th year, for a 90 rupees that is issued at a discount, face value 100 rupees will be paid. So the difference of the amount, the discount itself will form an income to an investor. So if there is any discount allowed on a zero coupon bond, the company can claim a deduction. Then we have contribution to RPF, Recognized Provident Fund, or approved superannuation fund or approved gratuity fund of the employee. These are basically staff welfare related expenses. Business can claim deduction. If the employer is contributing any amount to the NPS, Notified Pension Scheme, or the new pension scheme of the employees up to 10% of salary, that is including DA under the terms of employment. This is basically covered under section 80 CCD. So if the employer is contributing any amount to the notified pension scheme, such an employer can claim deduction as business expense. If the business incurs any loss due to the death of animals used in the business, such losses can be claimed as deduction. Bad debts written off up to the amount allowed by the assessing officer. The income tax officer is allowed, but this bad debt does not include provision for bad and doubtful debt. So no reserves, no provisions are allowed as business expense. Only bad debts written off and approved by the assessing officer can be claimed as deduction. Then we have revenue expenditure incurred on family planning. That is fully deductible. Now, if there is a capital expenditure incurred by a company, I stress on company, then such a company can claim a deduction of capital expenditure on family planning in 5 annual installments. So at the rate of 20% each year, company can claim deduction on capital expenditure on family planning. Other than company, no other businesses can claim deduction for family planning. But if revenue expenses are incurred on promoting family planning, then all businesses can claim, full deduction for such revenue expenditure incurred. Then we have expenses in connection with income tax proceedings before the income tax authority, that is filing of income tax returns, income tax assessment, income tax appeal. So such expenses are fully allowed as business expense. However, if the business is supposed to pay a fine, if the business is supposed to pay a penalty, and suppose the tax is long due, and if the department is charging interest on outstanding tax balance, then such expenses are not allowed as deduction under section 37, subsection 1. So expenses incurred on filing of income tax return, income tax assessment, income tax appeal can be claimed as deduction. But if the business is liable to pay interest on any outstanding tax, that is tax amount which is due for many years, or if the business is supposed to pay any fines or penalties to the income tax department, then such fines, such penalties, such interest on outstanding tax cannot be claimed as deduction as far as section 37 subsection 1 is concerned. So these are the various expenses which are allowed as deduction, and that is from section 30 to section 37. And some expenses are specifically deductible under various sections of the Income Tax Act. So that's all in this particular session. Thank you.